Good afternoon, Brett Slater, Debt Mastery. Today's video is going to be on Bitcoins. I don't know if you know much about them. I tell you what, it's definitely a up-and-coming investment, not investment, and just a new way of thinking. If you really are interested in changing your view on money and understanding what's going on, check out Bitcoin. Don't be stupid. It seems a little scary at the beginning, but it's not. It's just another form of money that's created by without currency and without gold, and it's tipped to create a new way of thinking. Anyway, check out this video. I will take you through it as I do it. Bye.
It's rather amazing, Gil, that Bitcoin has outperformed all these other assets, every major currency, stock index, and commodity contract in 2016. When people hold Bitcoin, do they usually hold it for the long term, or are they going in and out of it because they want to get out of a currency like the Chinese yuan and use Bitcoin as a way out of that before they move it into another hard currency?
It's both. Any type of restriction on the movement of money creates an incentive to use Bitcoin. Remember, Bitcoin is a peer-to-peer network for digital cash that is very efficient to use, can go cross-border, and it can do so with very little, with very few intermediaries. Any type of restriction, capital flows from China, the elimination of cash in India, threats on remittance between the US and Mexico, anything like that creates an incentive for people to use Bitcoin. And as the market for Bitcoin starts discounting that back, there's more and more of a sense for what the importance of Bitcoin can have in a world that has more borders, more firm borders, more conflict between countries, and more limitations on how people can move money.
So what they're talking about here is it isn't controlled by any central bank. There is no one person that is in charge of this thing. It's literally been put together by nobody really knows. It's just a pseudo name, and it really does change the whole way of everyone thinking about money and banking. And like, there's no bank you're going through. It's literally you're paying person to person. This is why the banks are hating it at the moment, and the governments. They don't know how to tax it. It's definitely a time to get in now before they create some kind of control.
And Gil, it's also seen much like gold, sort of as a haven, if you will, in times of geopolitical risk. We have a chart here of gold versus Bitcoin, and particularly since the election, we have seen people sell gold, but they haven't been selling Bitcoin. Really fascinating here. And in fact, the gold premium to Bitcoin is at a 3-year low. How much of the buying here, you say that there are various reasons, obviously, that people buy Bitcoin. What sort of, how big a factor is this desire for a haven?
Well, what I would say, it's a desire for an asset that's not correlated to other assets, with real estate and equities and sometimes even fixed income moving in unison in the economy. It's very hard to put assets in something that's not correlated and can preserve value or move in a way that's independent. Bitcoin is that. It is uncorrelated with any of those other assets. That's the advantage. That's an advantage that gold used to have, but Bitcoin is far more fluid. You can feel much closer ownership of that asset, and that's working. But calling it a safe haven is taking maybe a step a little too far, because it's a commodity. It trades like oil. Just like oil went from 150 to 30 to 100 to 40, Bitcoin has gone up to 1100 to 200, back to 900 now. It's not a safe haven in that your principal isn't secure, but there is a huge advantage to owning an asset that's not correlated to everything else you have in the portfolio.
So, you know, like they said, they're talking about it like it's connected to nothing, and it's literally a little bit like gold. So there's only going to be a finite amount of Bitcoins ever released. I think it's at around about just over 15 million now. And every time it hits a certain blockchain, more are released. I'm pretty sure it's going to stop at 20 million, and then there will not be any more Bitcoins released, but the price of Bitcoin will go up because there's only a limited, just like a diamond, just like an opal, but it's a digital currency. And hopefully this is going to break some of the power that the banks have, because this is not the only one. There's a whole bunch of cryptocurrencies coming out, and a whole style of a new way of thinking, which is trying to get away from the mainstream. Anyway, this is Brett Slater, Debt Mastery. Remember, like, share, subscribe. If you're in debt, come and have a chat. Like, honestly, I've got some great ways of getting out of debt. and teaching people how to make money at the same time, because this is what I love about it. People just think getting out of debt is one step of it, but I teach how to get out of debt and to learn how to invest at the same time. Switch the seesaw around from out of debt into money. All right, see you guys.